making headlines. The President decides to implement the government's legislative agenda 2023 to 2028. The government releases the legislative agenda comprising 230 bills categorized under 15 key areas. And the Attorney General states that the proposed amendments to the Immigration Act aimed at preventing individuals from entering the Maldives with Israeli passports will provide a solution to the issue. Welcome to the English News. I'm your host Malak Ahmad Fayaz. Now for the news in detail. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu decides to implement the government's legislative agenda 2023 to 2028 within his tenure of 5 years following the recommendation of the Cabinet. The decision was made by the President following the discussion of a bill submitted by the Attorney General's Office AGO at the Cabinet meeting held at the President's office.
The government's legislative agenda includes a spectrum of bills intended for submission to the Parliament for approval. These bills reflect the government's commitment and reform initiatives slated for implementation over its 5-year mandate. It includes bills which prioritize the strengthening of the administration, safeguarding the sovereignty of the nation and its people while bolstering economic growth. The legislative agenda consists of 213 bills under 15 key thematic areas. This includes 78 new bills the government intends to introduce to the legislative framework and 135 bills proposing amendments to the existing laws and acts.
The government has released the government's legislative agenda comprising 213 bills categorized under 15 principal thematic domains. This includes 78 new bills the government plans to introduce to the legislative framework and 135 bills proposing amendments to the existing laws and acts.
Publicizing the legislative agenda, Attorney General Ahmad Usham revealed that 6 fields were prioritized during the drafting of bills. This includes bills to be drafted within the constitutional framework, bills relating to laws earmarked for amendment or abolition due to the constitutional conflicts, bills relating to matters not enacted for public agencies but require legislative support, bills relating to amend existing laws to address difficulties in implementing it, bills to revise outdated laws, and bills pertaining to laws necessary for the implementation of international treaties which the nation is involved. Additionally, the legislative agenda incorporates bills relating to national planning, which is required to formulate the 20-year master plan. The master plan is an initiative of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu and aims to enhance the nation's development. The government previously stated that the primary objective of this initiative is to give the National Development Master Plan legal authority and implement it such that it cannot be altered despite a change in administration. Furthermore, the agenda encompasses diverse bills spanning constitutional and legal issues, governance, rights and freedoms given by law, religion and nationalism, national security and foreign affairs, anti-corruption and crime prevention, familial and societal affairs, health and well-being, environmental protection, commercial, economic and financial sectors, land, property and industrial development, as well as the education sector.
Attorney General A.G. Ahmad Usham states that the proposed amendment to the Immigration Act aimed at preventing individuals from entering the Maldives with Israeli passports will provide a comprehensive solution to the issue. He made the statement during a press conference where the government unveiled its legislative agenda for the next 5 years. A bill was introduced in Parliament to ban Israeli passport holders from entering the Maldives on May 29th in response to the Israeli military's attacks on Palestinian Muslims. The bill proposed by parliamentarian Mikhail Ahmad Nassim seeks to amend Article 8 of the Immigration Act. If passed, the amendment would bar all Israeli passport holders, including dual citizens, from entering the country. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu has since committed to making the necessary legal amendments to enforce this ban. Speaking at the press conference, A.G. Usham said that there is no need for the government to introduce an additional bill as the current bill in Parliament addresses the ban on Israeli passports. He also said that the government would consider making necessary amendments to the bill during the committee stage. Additionally, AG Usham expressed his doubts about the effectiveness of the current bill in fully addressing the issue of entry with Israeli passports. He said that further amendments are needed and noted that according to parliamentary regulations, a bill on the same issue cannot be reintroduced. Therefore, he said it would be most efficient to accept and amend the existing bill during the committee stage. The bill has been passed in Parliament and referred to the Security Services Committee. In support of the Palestinian citizens affected by Israeli military actions, the government has been working on various initiatives. As such, the public service media PSM held a special telethon on June 12th to aid Palestinian Muslims. The United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF representative to the Maldives, Dr. Edward Adai, pays a courtesy call on First Lady Sajida Mohammed to ensure the protection of children's rights. During the meeting, the First Lady praised UNICEF's continuous support in addressing various issues pertaining to the enhancement of children's development. Meanwhile, Dr. Adai conveyed appreciation for the First Lady's leadership and her endorsement of UNICEF initiatives. He appreciated her involvement in the UNICEF nutrition program and commended the administration's commendable work towards economic reform and social services in the nation. He additionally expressed gratitude to the First Lady for participating in the Children's Day art exhibition held on November 24, 2023, and shared a digital copy of the exhibition with her. The discussion between the First Lady and Dr. Adai focused on social issues related to the protection and development of the children and their rights. Concluding the meeting, the First Lady and the UNICEF representative reiterated their commitment to ensuring a secure environment for children through collaborative efforts. The Ministry of Cities, Local Government and Public Works announces a list of 50 islands where new local council buildings will be constructed. These have been selected based on criteria such as the current status, available space and service levels of the existing council facilities. Speaking at a press conference, Minister of Cities, Local Government and Public Works, Adam Sharif Umar, said that the 50 islands chosen for this project are separate from those included in the 2023 and 2024 Public Sector Investment Program (PSIP) budgets. He said that the reason for the exclusion is that the PSIP projects are already at various stages of development. Additionally, Minister Adam Sharif emphasized the rigorous process used to identify the most suitable islands for the new constructions. As such, he said that data collection revealed 102 islands in urgent need for new council buildings. From this list, he said that 50 islands were prioritized for this year, focusing on those with the poorest existing facilities. He said that key factors in the selection included the age of current buildings, the extent of required repairs, available space, and the presence of essential facilities like storerooms, bathrooms, and prayer rooms. He also said the new buildings will incorporate police desks and court services. Furthermore, Minister Adam Sharif said that the construction of the office buildings is set to begin this year, featuring spacious designs to accommodate the council's operational needs. He also said that the prefabricated buildings will be constructed with support of the Chinese government. Moreover, Minister Adam Sharif noted that ongoing work is progressing on 55 islands included in the 2023 and 2024 PSIP budgets. He also said that the government aims to construct council buildings in all 102 identified islands with poor conditions within this term. World Blood Donor Day, observed annually on June 14th, serves as a platform to advocate for the critical importance of blood donation in bolstering community support. Instituted on the international scale in 2004, this day, endorsed by the World Health Organization (WHO), seeks to acknowledge and express gratitude towards blood donors who generously contribute to saving lives worldwide.
In commemoration of the 20th anniversary of World Blood Donor Day, WHO has designated a special theme, 20 years of celebrating giving, thank you blood donors. This campaign aims to recognize and honor the invaluable contributions of millions of voluntary blood donors globally while fostering a culture of regular blood donation among the youth and the general populace. Similar to other nations, the Maldives faces a persistent demand for blood, particularly among thalassemia patients. Statistics released by the Maldives Blood Service (MBS) indicates that a total of 658 children were seeking treatment for thalassemia by the end of 2023. While 323 children are receiving treatment from MBS, 335 children are treated from health centers in the atolls and islands. The statistics additionally shows that a total of 9,247 individuals had donated blood by the end of 2023. While 57% were direct donors, 26% participated in various donation campaigns. Additionally, 5% donated blood voluntarily prior to requests and 2% through apheresis, with 10% donating for other purposes. To address challenges in blood storage and supply, the government is undertaking initiatives to establish full-fledged blood banks in 5 areas nationwide, as per President Dr. Mohammad Moiz's commitment. Minister Dr. Abdullah Khalil stated that pertinent information of the hospitals located in 5 areas have been collected, adding that the blood banks will be established in Kurudufushi city and Addu city as well. These blood banks will serve as comprehensive facilities equipped for blood storage, testing, processing and separation, thus bolstering the nation's healthcare infrastructure.
The Male City Group of Hospitals announces the outpatient department OPD service schedule at the Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital, IGMH, for Al Eid holidays. The OPD service will be closed for 4 days due to the holidays. IGMH said that specialist doctor OPD services will be closed on Hajj and Eid holidays as well as on June 19th and 20th. However, the OPD services will be available on June 17th, 18th and 22 during the Eid holidays. Despite the changes to OPD service days, emergency services and inpatient services will remain available on all days. In addition, the hospital will offer daily appointments with general practitioners for cold and common illnesses. IGMH also noted that under the group of hospitals, Dharmawanta Hospital, Hulumale Hospital and Vilimale Hospital will continue to provide services during the Eid holidays. The Male City Council designates the evening of Al Eid as a pedestrian-only time, prohibiting vehicles on the roads. As such, motor vehicles and battery-powered vehicles will be banned from operating in the Greater Male region from 1600 hours to 1800 hours on June 16th. The restriction will apply to all public roads in Male, Vilimale and Hulumale. However, emergency vehicles will be allowed under a special permit issued by the City Council. Permits and required stickers can be obtained on June 14th from 1400 hours to 1600 hours and 2100 hours to 2300 hours, and on June 15th from 1000 hours to 1400 hours and 2100 hours to 2300 hours. Legal action will be taken against any unauthorized vehicles on the roads during the curfew. The annual curfew is part of Eid celebrations, providing families with the opportunity to enjoy various activities on the streets. China says it reserves the right to file a suit with the World Trade Organization over planned new EU tariffs on imports of its electric vehicles. The European Union warned this week it would slap additional tariffs of up to 38% on Chinese electric car imports from next month after an anti-subsidy probe. The European Commission has proposed a provisional hike of tariffs on Chinese manufacturers, which is 17.4% for market major BYD, 20% for Geely, and 38.1% for CAIC. The EU said the amount depended on the level of state subsidies received by the firms. Beijing's Commerce Ministry spokesman He Yadong told in a briefing that China reserves the right to file a suit to the WTO and take all necessary measures to resolutely defend the rights and interests of Chinese companies. He condemned the move as lacking a factual and legal basis. The European Commission pointed to unfair subsidization in China, which it said is causing a threat of economic injury to EU electric car makers. The tariffs will apply provisionally from July 4th and then definitively from November unless there's a qualified majority of EU states, 15 countries representing at least 65% of the bloc's population, voting against the move. Chinese media ramped up threats that Beijing could target EU exports ahead of Wednesday's decision. China launched an anti-dumping investigation in January's imports from the EU in a move seen as targeting France, which pushed for the Commission's probe. A group representing French producers said it was deeply concerned about possible Chinese retaliation. China's Commerce Ministry did not offer specifics when asked on Thursday about countermeasures that might be taken. A staggering total of 120 million people are living forcibly displaced by war, violence and persecution, the UN said, branding the ever-increasing number a terrible indictment on the state of the world. The United Nations Refugee Agency UNHCR said forced displacement globally had once again smashed records, with conflicts in places such as Gaza, Sudan and Myanmar forcing even more people to flee their homes. The global displaced population is now equivalent to that of Japan, it pointed out in a statement. UN Refugee Chief Filippo Grandi told reporters that conflict remains a very big driver of mass displacement. UNHCR said in a report that 117.3 million people were displaced by the end of 2023. And by the end of April, the number had swelled further to an estimated 120 million people around the world. UNHCR said that the number is up from 110 million a year ago and has been rising for 12 consecutive years, nearly tripling since 2012, amid a combination of new and mutating crises and a failure to resolve long-standing ones. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres voiced his dismay at the record figure. Grandi pointed to an increase in crises and highlighted how climate change is impacting population movement and driving conflicts. UNHCR last year declared 43 emergencies across 29 countries, more than 4 times what was common just a few years ago, he told reporters. In particular, Grandi noted the way conflicts are conducted in complete disregard of international law and often with the specific purpose of terrorizing people. France head into Euro 2024 is quite possibly the standout candidates to lift the trophy, but their prospects may, to a large extent, depend on Kylian Mbappe not being distracted by his club future. Kylian Mbappe's long goodbye from Paris Saint-Germain PSG and switch to Real Madrid have dominated headlines in France and Spain in recent months. The 25-year-old's presence for PSG over the last 3 months of the season could no longer be taken for granted, and he did not look at his sharpest in his final appearances for the French champions. However, he still scored 48 club goals in the campaign just finished, and France coach Didier Deschamps has no doubt that his captain will be firing on all cylinders at the European Championship. Mbappe scored 46 goals in 77 appearances for his country, including an astonishing hat-trick in the memorable final of the 2022 World Cup in Doha, which France lost on penalties to Argentina. However, neither Mbappe nor his country have happy memories of the last Euros 3 years ago. Before that, Mbappe had only just emerged at Monaco and had not yet played for France when Deschamps' team agonizingly lost the Euro 2016 final on home soil, going down in extra time to Portugal. France breezed through qualifying, winning 7 straight games before a 2-2 draw in Greece, which came after their place at the finals in Germany was already secured. But performances in recent friendly matches, while perhaps not enough to set alarm bells ringing, were a reminder that the top-ranked team in Europe should not take anything for granted. Deschamps' team has changed since the Qatar World Cup, with goalkeeper and captain Hugo Lloris having retired along with centre-back Rafael. Deschamps insists it is a difficult group, although if all goes to form, they could find themselves on a collision course to face England in the semi-finals. The coach said that like other nations, we have the potential to maybe go all the way, but we must not already be thinking about the semi-finals or a possible final. With internet-connected sleep monitors, robotic arms and calorie-counting cafeteria plates, China's elder care industry is hoping automation will provide the solution to an aging population and a shrinking workforce. Hundreds of retirees were among visitors to a crowded industry fair in Shanghai this week, thronging booths touting everything from luxury retirement homes to physiotherapy robots. China's population has declined since 2022 after more than 60 years of uninterrupted growth, prompting fears of a future labor crunch and a growing pressure on its healthcare system as millions of citizens enter old age. Rather than relying on people, traditionally one's children, to provide care, many of the fair's exhibitors showcase technological attempts to solve the demographic conundrum. Elsewhere, an array of smartwatches, motion detectors and temperature monitors at Shenzhen-based tech firm Innopro's booth promised families constant surveillance of their elders. Targeting busy workers or those living apart from their loved ones, the company also boasts nursing homes and local governments among its clients. For customers of AHU Health Management and operate of senior citizen cafeterias, it's their dinner plates that keep watch. The plates are embedded with chips that identify the food being served. A cash register at checkout reads the chips and delivers an instant nutritional report complete with calorie-counted breakdown of micronutrients, cutting workloads for service staff and health workers. Regular diners can set up payment cards that track their weight, nutritional habits and health status. That's all the news we have for today. Thank you all for watching.